If a recession hits the US, some states won't just struggle, they'll collapse. Skyrocketing debt, vanishing jobs, and broken economies. In this video, we reveal the 10 US states on the brink, and number 1 might shock you. Is your state on the list? Alright, let's kick things off with the Golden State, California, home to Hollywood, Silicon Valley, and unfortunately some pretty precarious economic tightropes. See, California's economy is largely driven by tech and innovation. Now that's great when things are booming, but when the tech bubble bursts, the ripples can be felt across the entire state. And we've seen those bubbles burst before, haven't we? On top of that, California has been grappling with high unemployment rates, even before the pandemic threw a wrench into everything. Add in a notoriously high cost of living, and it's no wonder that people are starting to question whether the California dream is still attainable. Now, I'm not saying that California is doomed. This is still a state with incredible resources and a history of bouncing back from adversity, but the challenges are real, and they're something we need to be paying attention to. Next up, we're heading to the Midwest, to the home of Abraham Lincoln, deep dish pizza, and well, some pretty serious budget woes. Illinois has been struggling with budget deficits for years, and it's a problem that just seems to be getting worse. This is partly due to a decline in manufacturing jobs, which has eroded the state's tax base. And when your tax base shrinks, it becomes harder to fund essential services like education and infrastructure. Speaking of infrastructure, Illinois' infrastructure is, well, let's just say it's seen better days. Crumbling roads, underfunded schools, and a pension system that's teetering on the brink of collapse. It's not a pretty picture, but hey, at least they have deep dish pizza, right? Okay, bad jokes aside, Illinois faces some serious structural issues that need to be addressed. The good news is that there are people working on solutions, but it's going to take a concerted effort from both sides of the aisle to get Illinois back on track. From the windy city to the city that never sleeps, we arrive in New York, a state synonymous with opportunity, ambition, and increasingly economic anxiety. New York City, the state's economic engine, is a global hub for finance, media, and tourism. But even the Big Apple isn't immune to economic downturns. The cost of living in New York City is legendary, and it's pushing more and more people to the brink. Housing costs in particular are astronomical, making it nearly impossible for many people to afford to live in the city they call home. And when people can't afford to live in a city, they leave. We've already seen an exodus of residents from New York City in recent years, and a recession could accelerate that trend. Now, New York is a resilient state, and New York City always seems to find a way to reinvent itself. But the challenges are real, and they're forcing us to ask some tough questions about affordability, inequality, and the future of urban life. Let's shift gears and head down to West Virginia, a state with a rich history, breathtaking natural beauty, and a heavy dependence on a declining industry coal. For generations, coal mining has been the lifeblood of West Virginia, providing jobs, revenue, and a sense of identity. But the coal industry is in decline, and that decline has hit West Virginia hard. Jobs have disappeared, towns have emptied out, and the state's economy has struggled to find its footing in a post-coal world. Adding to the challenges, West Virginia has been grappling with a shrinking population, as young people leave in search of better opportunities elsewhere. This shrinking population means a shrinking tax base, which makes it even harder to invest in education, infrastructure, and the other things that West Virginia needs to diversify its economy and attract new residents. It's a classic chicken and egg problem, and there are no easy solutions. But one thing is clear, West Virginia needs to find a way to move beyond coal and create a more sustainable future for its people. Okay, I know what you're thinking, New Jersey? The state with the turnpike and well, yeah, that's probably all you know about New Jersey, isn't it? But there's more to the Garden State than meets the eye, including a whole lot of economic vulnerability. New Jersey has one of the highest levels of debt per capita in the nation, which puts a strain on the state budget and limits its ability to invest in essential services. And while New Jersey does have a diverse economy, it's heavily reliant on the financial and pharmaceutical industries, both of which can be susceptible to economic downturns. On top of that, New Jersey has a high cost of living, particularly when it comes to housing. This makes it difficult for families to make ends meet, and it can discourage businesses from relocating to the state. So while New Jersey has a lot to offer, from its beautiful beaches to its proximity to New York City, it's also facing some serious economic headwinds. We're heading south now to Mississippi, a state with a rich cultural heritage, a complex history, and some of the highest poverty rates in the nation. Mississippi has long struggled with poverty, inequality, and a lack of economic opportunity, particularly in rural areas. The state's education system has also faced challenges, which has made it difficult for Mississippi to attract and retain high-paying jobs. And when you have a lack of education and a lack of job opportunities, it creates a vicious cycle of poverty that can be incredibly difficult to break. Now I know what you're thinking, this is starting to sound pretty bleak. But here's the thing, even in the face of these challenges, there are people in Mississippi working tirelessly to create a better future. There are educators dedicated to providing their students with the best possible education, entrepreneurs working to create new businesses, and community leaders fighting for greater economic justice. From the Mississippi Delta, we arrive in Louisiana, a state known for its vibrant culture, its delicious food, and its ongoing struggle to recover from natural disasters and economic hardship. Louisiana has been hit hard by hurricanes, oil spills, and the decline of the oil and gas industry, all of which have taken a toll on the state's economy and its people. Poverty rates in Louisiana are high, particularly in rural areas and communities of color. And the state's infrastructure, already strained by natural disasters, is in dire need of investment. But amidst these challenges, there's a spirit of resilience in Louisiana, a determination to rebuild and come back stronger than ever. From the bustling streets of New Orleans to the small towns dotting the bayou, there's a sense of community and a shared commitment to overcoming adversity. Louisiana faces a long road to recovery, but if any state can overcome these challenges, it's the Pelican State. Let's be honest, when you think of Florida, you probably think of sunshine, beaches, and maybe Disney World, but beneath the surface of this vacation paradise lies a state grappling with economic vulnerabilities, particularly when it comes to natural disasters. Florida is incredibly vulnerable to hurricanes, and these storms can wreak havoc on the state's economy, causing billions of dollars in damage and disrupting tourism, agriculture, and other key industries. And as climate change intensifies, the frequency and severity of these storms are only expected to increase. On top of that, Florida's economy is heavily reliant on tourism, a sector that's particularly susceptible to economic downturns. So, while Florida may be a great place to visit, it's also a state facing some serious economic risks. From the Sunshine State to the Silver State, we arrive in Nevada, a state synonymous with gambling, entertainment, and a heavy reliance on tourism and hospitality. Now there's no doubt that Las Vegas is one of the most exciting cities in the world, but Nevada's economy is heavily reliant on tourism, a sector that's incredibly vulnerable to economic shocks. When the economy takes a downturn, people cut back on discretionary spending, and that means fewer trips to Vegas. And when tourism suffers, so does the rest of Nevada's economy. Add in a history of boom and bust cycles, and it's clear that Nevada is a state that knows how to gamble, both literally and figuratively. But as the saying goes, the house always wins in the end, and right now it seems like the house has the advantage in Nevada. Finally, we journey to the last frontier, Alaska, a state known for its rugged beauty, its independent spirit, and its heavy dependence on natural resources. Alaska's economy is closely tied to oil production, and while oil prices have been relatively high in recent years, they're notoriously volatile. A sharp drop in oil prices could send shockwaves through Alaska's economy, leading to job losses, budget cuts, and a decline in government services. And as the world transitions to cleaner sources of energy, Alaska will need to find ways to diversify its economy and reduce its reliance on fossil fuels. It's a challenge that will require innovation, investment, and a willingness to embrace change. But if any state is up to the challenge, it's Alaska, a place where people are used to adapting to harsh conditions and overcoming obstacles. So there you have it, 10 U.S. states facing an uncertain economic future. It's a lot to process, I know. But remember, this isn't about predicting the future, it's about understanding the challenges and starting a conversation about how we can build a more resilient and equitable economy for everyone. If you found this video insightful, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more content, and let us know in the comments which state you think is most at risk.